What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW video. So Pokemon Go sent out some incredible news centered around Pokemon GoFest. So if you haven't heard about this, on the second day of GoFest, this is going to be on a Sunday, July 18th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. All legendary Pokemon in the past are going to be spawning all at once in 5-star raids around the world. And you don't even have to have a ticket to be able to participate in these raids. I am going to talk about why you may want to go ahead and purchase a ticket. It's $5 US to be able to do this. And then of course we'll talk about a little bit of an update that Niantic gave. They actually forgot to include some legendary Pokemon in the raid blog, where they forgot the Pokemon Virizion, Terrakion, and then finally Cobalion. But don't worry, Niantic, you're not the only one who forgot about those Pokemon. Okay, maybe that was a little harsh, but what we're going to be doing today is talking about the top Pokemon that you should prioritize throughout this event. Because there's so many, you're going to want to focus on the ones that actually make the most sense from a raid side as well as from a PvP side. If you do enjoy the episode, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So I mentioned that you may want to go ahead and buy yourself a GoFest ticket, because if you plan on doing a ton of raids that day and you don't have a ticket, you're going to be wasting your money. And the reason why I say that is if you buy yourself the GoFest ticket, you can have access up to 21 raid passes by paying that $5. This is a huge deal that you want to take advantage of. As far as the individual breakdown is concerned, you can get yourself up to 10 free raid passes by playing them in person. And the way that Pokemon Go has done this in the past is you're not able to just collect 10 and then use them whenever you want, like later on after the event is over. Instead, they allow you to string them where you can hold one at a time. You go and do your raid, you go to the next one, you spin the stop, and you get your next free one. So you're gonna have to string together 10, and 10 is gonna be the maximum that you will be able to get. But if you're able to go out in person, that's just gonna be an even better deal for you. But don't worry if you aren't willing to go out in person for whatever reason, COVID, work, whatever it is, this is still gonna be good value because you've got access to 11 remote raid passes. 8 of them are going to come from the timed research, and then 3 of them are going to come from a free event bundle. So having at least 11 is just such a good deal for $5. So if you plan on spending money doing those raids, please buy a ticket and save yourself some money by doing that. Such incredible value out of this. 21 raid passes for $5 is a deal in and of itself. But of course, GoFest is more than just this day too, so there's a lot of value added to this. So anyways, we can go ahead and talk about the Pokemon. I know this is what you're here for. First things first, we've got the habitat rotation that's worth explaining. So for example, we've got the wind rotation here, where it's going to come from 10 to 11 in your local time and then 2 to 3 p.m. within your local time, meaning that these Pokemon are going to be spawning throughout the 5-star raids, which should be all of the gyms, hopefully. And what's going to end up happening is these Pokemon will show up twice a day, and each habitat is going to show up twice a day. And of course, that's going to be centered around just organization, right? There's just so many Pokemon. So let's go ahead and dive into which Pokemon I would prioritize, keeping in mind that you can go ahead and get yourself raids outside of what's showing up in your local area, because different players are in different time zones. So you can really hyper focus on a specific Pokemon. I'm personally going to focus mostly on Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo is going to be a top priority for a lot of people. I myself have 6 Mewtwo's powered up to level 40. They're either 100% IVs or they're 98% IVs, but you know what I don't have is XL candy. So at least for this Pokemon and this raid day, I am going to be accepting any and all Mewtwo raids, remote, in person. I'm going to find all of them and do as many as I possibly can. I think that is easily going to be one of the #1 options throughout the entire event that people end up focusing on. But let's go ahead and give a little bit of a shout out to some fellow Pokemon in this wind environment. We've got the Giratina and Cresselia. So Cresselia is going to require an Elite Charge Sim to get yourself access to Grass Knot, but if you're a PvP fan, these 2 Pokemon are great from the Ultra League. So if you need to get yourself these Pokemon, you can get it, and simultaneously, if you just need candy for any of these Pokemon, this is going to be your chance to get access to it. But Mewtwo is going to be the clear winner out of the wind habitat. If we move on to the lava habitat, there's going to be 3 Pokemon that are probably worth highlighting. Technically 4, It just kind of depends. I think Moltres is going to be one of the top Pokemon from the flying type. You are going to have to use an Elite Charge TM to get yourself access to Sky Attack, and it is the second best fire type attacker behind Reshiram. So if you're looking for a fire type attacker, Reshiram is going to be the Pokemon that you want to focus on. And then the final two Pokemon worth mentioning are going to be Landorus, Therian form, and then Yveltal. So Therian form going to be tied for first, tied for second with a Pokemon like Garchomp as the top ground type attacker. And then Yveltal is going to be like the second best, potentially third best dark type attacker. And then it's also going to be good at PvP. So there's a lot of value out of this lava. What specifically are you going to focus on? That's of course going to depend on what you're looking for. But I think that all of these Pokemon deserve kind of like a second tier focus here behind a Pokemon like Mewtwo. So let's go ahead and move on to the Frost Habitat. Now the Frost Habitat is a little bit on the lower end as far as the breadth is concerned. And you may be looking at the end here seeing Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf. But unfortunately they are going to be region locked. So, Niantic. But anyways, for this Frost environment, I think that Kyogre is probably the only Pokemon that is worth it out of this. Maybe when you get into PvP, you could talk a little bit about Articuno there and potentially something like Lugia. So maybe we can give Articuno like a 4th tier out of the top tier. And then if we move on to the Thunder Habitat, this habitat has so much depth to it. And I think that this is probably going to be the biggest pain point for a lot of people trying to decide which Pokemon to actually focus on, because there are so many good Pokemon. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, if I'm prioritizing, I think what I would pick firstly is going to be Rayquaza. I think Rayquaza is going to be like a second tier, but if you consider the Megas coming out in the future, maybe Rayquaza is going to be like a top option along with that Pokemon Mewtwo as like the top 2 Pokemon you want to focus on. And then moving down a little bit from that, I think that Thundurus is going to be very valuable to do. Raikou is going to be valuable to do from that electric typing. And then of course you got Registeel. If you're interested in PvP and you want to get yourself an Ultra League, you are going to have yourself XL Candy. So if you're interested in PvP, Registeel is a top option. And then Dialga, wow, what an incredible Pokemon. From the Master League, gonna be great. And then of course from the raid side, gonna be great, adding on that steel typing. So I need myself a good Dialga for the Master League, so I'm gonna probably be focusing on that one too. And then finally you got a Pokemon like Zekrom, which is just solid from the electric typing as well as from the dragon typing. So a lot of value out of this. And then maybe Zapdos gets like, I don't know, tier 3. And then unfortunately for Xerneas, it's just kind of there in that Thunder environment or habitat, if you will. But anyways, go ahead and take yourself a screenshot of this so you can kind of get an idea of what to sort of focus on. I'll go ahead and add these Pokemon in here. I think that they probably deserve it too, if you're interested in PvP, of course. But get yourself a screenshot so you know exactly what you want to focus on. There are so many legendary Pokemon that are going to be spawning, and just imagining coordinating this, it gives me so much anxiety. Even if you are doing it locally, you don't know exactly where a particular Pokemon is going to spawn until they spawn. So you may find yourself driving across town to one, driving to a completely different area to get the Mewtwo that you are, cherishing like I am myself. And then of course, if you go ahead and include time zones into that mix, trying to coordinate across time zones, oh my gosh, so much anxiety. But do not worry, I actually have a solution for that. And that's through the patron exclusive Discord server, where we are going to be coordinating for these raids and focusing on specific Pokemon, setting up raid channels for that. And we have players from all around the world, so we are going to set up priorities for a Pokemon like Mewtwo, Pokemon like Rayquaza, so that you can get those raids even if they're not within your own time zone. So if you've ever considered supporting the channel, now might be the best time to go ahead and do that. You're going to get a ton of value out of that. And we also talk about just Pokemon Go in general, all of the updates that are going on. We've got a general chat that we talk about. So anyways, I want to give a huge shout out to the supporters over at Patreon. I want to end with a question of the day. What legendary Pokemon are you focusing on the most for this GoFest event? Let me know in the comments section below. But we can go ahead and close this outro. Once again, thank you so much to the supporters over at Patreon. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, I think you would get a lot of value out of that Discord server like I mentioned before. But I hope you did enjoy the episode, and I will see you next time.